For most people, content creation kind of feels like an art, right? It's unpredictable, it's really tough to measure, and a lot of the time you're just going on gut feeling. But what if we could flip that script? What if we could turn it into a science, a repeatable, data-driven system that actually gives you predictable results? Well, that's exactly what this playbook is all about. But first, we've got to start with a hard truth. I'm talking about a number that should make every single content creator out there stop and really listen. That number is 90%. Yeah, you heard that right. I mean, think about that for a second. All the time, all the effort, all the money you pour into writing, editing, and publishing, and 90% of it gets absolutely zero traffic from search engines. It just sits there. It's a massive problem, but here's the good news. It's a solvable one. So the big question is, how do you break out of that content wasteland? How do you join that elite 10%? The content that actually gets seen, gets read, and most importantly, drives action. How do you make sure you get a return on all that creative effort? Well, the answer all starts with a pretty radical shift in mindset. You've got to stop thinking of yourself as someone who just writes articles. Instead, start acting like a product manager. See, your job isn't just to write, it's to ship products. And every single piece of content you create, that is a product engineered to solve a very specific problem for a very specific audience. And this playbook, think of it as your production line. We're going to walk through 5 essential stations. First, we'll start by locking in one precise question. Then we'll talk about why you need to write for machines first. After that, we'll validate our ideas with small, smart bets. Then we'll monetize every single section of our content. And finally, we'll build that all-important KPI dashboard that proves the whole system works. All right, let's dive into station 1. Start with one question. This is all about cutting through that noisy mess of endless topic ideas and getting down to a single, razor-sharp, testable brief. And the process here is actually wonderfully simple, and it's all rooted in data you already have. Step 1. Go and scan your support tickets and your sales call logs. Look for the exact phrasing your customers are using again and again. Step 2. Confirm it's a practical question you can answer, a how-to or a comparison. And finally, step 3. Draft a title using this precise format. This forces you to nail down both the problem and the audience right from the start. And boom, here's what a great result looks like. How to fix slow Squarespace pages for small shops. See how specific that is? It's not vague at all. It nails the pain point, the platform, and the exact audience. This is a question you can absolutely own. Okay, let's move on to station 2. If you want to win with today's readers who are always in a hurry, and with search engine algorithms, you have to write for machines first. And this means adopting a really simple but powerful technique called the answer first structure. So, you know those long, rambling introductions we were all taught to write in school? Yeah, forget them. That's the old way. The answer first structure, on the other hand, is built for speed and for clarity. Your heading asks the question, and the very next sentence, bam, delivers the answer. It really is that simple. And here's the secret sauce for why this is so incredibly powerful. You give the complete, concise answer in one clean sentence right there under the heading. Then you can expand with all the details, evidence, and steps. This structure is perfectly designed for Google to grab as a featured snippet, or for an AI to use as a definitive source. You're basically writing for the way information is actually consumed today by both humans and machines. Okay, station 3. This is all about managing risk. Look, before you go and invest a ton of time and money creating the ultimate guide, you need to prove that people actually want it. and you do that by validating demand with small data-driven experiments. And hey, this doesn't have to be some huge expensive research project, not at all. We're talking about running a super lean paid pilot, a budget of just a few £100s or dollars, targeted at the right audience over a week or two. That's really all you need to get a clear signal on whether your idea has legs. Now, to get the most valuable data from that test, you're going to want to try at least 3 different offers side by side. So for example, you could offer a simple downloadable checklist, a free 15-minute consultation, and maybe a low-cost micro product. The reason this is so smart is that it doesn't just tell you whether people are interested, it tells you about the quality and intent of the leads you're attracting. And that, my friends, is way more valuable. Alright, moving on to station 4. This is where we really start to turn our content into a true commercial engine. The goal here is to strategically embed revenue paths directly into every relevant section of the article itself. And this is definitely not a one-size-fits-all deal. The best approach is to layer multiple monetization paths right inside a single piece of content. Why? Because this lets you capture value from different kinds of readers, no matter where they are in their buying journey. It's really all about context. So let's say you have a tactical how-to section. That's the perfect place to link to a product add-on. A more high-level strategy section that could offer a paid audit. A part of the article reviewing different tools. Well, that's a no-brainer for an affiliate link. And for your absolute best, most authoritative content, you can even sell sponsorship placements right inside the piece. And that brings us to our final, and maybe most important, station: measurement. The content KPI dashboard is how you prove the value of this entire system. It's all about connecting the dots from the content you create directly to the cash it generates. You know, a dashboard that looks like this completely changes the entire conversation you have about content in your company. It forces you to stop focusing on those fuzzy vanity metrics like page views and instead follow the money from that initial visit to the lead it generated to a qualified prospect and all the way to actual revenue in the bank. This is the kind of view that gets you taken seriously. The whole point of this system is to shift your focus from fuzzy metrics to concrete business outcomes. We stop talking about traffic just for traffic's sake. Instead, we start focusing on the things that actually drive the business forward. I'm talking qualified leads, a healthy sales pipeline, and of course, revenue. So when you put all 5 of these stations together, what do you get? The output isn't just a few successful articles here and there. No, the output is a predictable, repeatable system, a content factory that reliably produces commercial results month in and month out. So look, if you only take one single thing away from this whole explainer, please make it this. Treat content like a product. I mean it. That means it needs a target customer. It needs a specific job that it's being hired to do. It needs a clear distribution strategy. And it absolutely needs a rigorous way to measure its performance out there in the market. And that leaves us with one final, provocative question for you to take away and act on. Seriously, think about your business and your customers right now. What is the one question that your next piece of content is going to completely and totally own?